my lovely creatives. I am filming this before I go on holiday, and because I'm going on holiday I'm a little bit in a summery mood still. I know autumn is almost here, but I want to create something that feels really summery and swimming pool, maybe a bit tropical. I want to make something that is beginner friendly, so I have picked a selection of ice creams and we're going to draw those in marker and color pencil. So let's get started. I am using my markers today. These are alcohol markers. You can buy alcohol markers in lots of different brands. And I'm picking some bright colors. Like this pink, some yellow. I might pick some more colors at some point, but for now, I think I'll leave the orange. Orange is a color I use quite a lot, but today I think I'll leave it. So there we go. So I have some colors and I'm going to use some color pencil as well. And what I want to show you today is how wonderfully color pencil and marker combine. They're just two materials that are so complementary and that I would really recommend using together. The markers that I'm using are from Guess Art. They are their own brand. I know a lot of people use Copic markers. I might buy those at some point. So far I've always used these and they have served me well. There we go. And what we are going to do is make some illustrations of ice creams. I have seen other people draw ice creams before. They're really popular and fun image to make, and they're quite easy to make as well. So we're just going to get started on this piece of paper with the first shapes. And the first one is just going to be a popsicle. What I'm trying to do is to keep it quite easy. I'm not making a sketch with sketch pencil. I'm going in straight with marker. I'm just going with the marker on my paper. So it's okay if it's a little bit wonky. Try not to be a perfectionist. So there we go. This can be the body of our first ice cream. Oh, I need some brown of course as well. So there we go. So I'm just leaving that for the time being. I will add lots of color pencil over it in a moment, but for now I'm just leaving it as it is. And I'm going to get started with the second one. So for the second one, maybe I use this light pink as a base. This is going to be a cone. So there we go. This maybe is one of those cones that is a bit more like an Italian ice cream. So there we go. This can be the initial shape. And let's add some ice cream on top. So maybe this one is dripping a bit. So and I'm really using my markers to add some base colors right now. There we go, a bit of green. I made my sketch directly with marker. No perfectionism today. So this paper soaks up the marker ink a little bit, so it doesn't blend very well, but that's okay. It doesn't matter, we don't need to do much blending today. So, and maybe there could be an ice cream like waver here as well. So, there we go. And I want to show you, I think I'll stick with 2 ice creams for now. I might draw some more in a moment. For now, I think 2 might be enough. And I'm going to show you how I can make this illustration quite realistic by going over this drawing with my color pencil. So I want to add a little bit more of this pink here and a little bit more of this light brown onto this ice cream cone. There we go. Let's see if I can make this a little bit more realistic. So, I need some yellow, some oranges. So these are my Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils. I have some Derwent Pro Color here as well, maybe some pink. This brown seems like a good color. Maybe some red. I'll probably use all these colors at some point, but so I just like to lay them out a little bit and then I know what I am working with. There we go. I'm going to get started with this light colored terracotta brown. Actually, it's quite sharp, but I can sharpen it by now. And because we already have this base color on the paper, we can use our color pencil to add details and shadows to the picture and make it more realistic. And the beauty is that we don't have to work from scratch because we already have this underpainting, this under layer in marker there. So I can see, add a little bit of texture. To this ice cream. I know that a lot of these ice creams have these grooves in them. So I'll start adding that a little bit as well. And just lightly start to add a little bit more realism to the picture. So you can see in places I use my color pencil really light, more shading, really gentle, and then there's some other places where I press down a bit harder. I instantly think, my wire, I instantly think that my picture starts to look more realistic just by the application of these lines. So you can also see I leave some areas white because that could be a little bit of the frosted outside of the ice cream. So, adding a bit more yellow. So you can see Really taking my time and just shading in these extra colors. And I always find that adding an underlayer of marker just saves you so much time, because you already have your base colors in the paper, and it means that all these building up layers of color pencil that you would normally add, that take sometimes hours if you make a large painting, you can skip all of that and go straight into adding detail. And that's something that if you want to save yourself a bit of time and you want to create a really vibrant drawing, then that is just fantastic and a lot of fun to do. So I think I'll save this, leave this for now and carry on with this one. And then I need to add some shadow as well before I am finished. But for now I think I'll just leave this. So, and then for this one I feel like this ice cream cone really needs to have some shadow here on the side that is underneath. So, taking my time, just shading it and adding some extra layers. So, what I'm noticing is that there's mostly shadow. It's like there's like a crisscross sort of pattern onto this ice cream, but the shadows seem to be mostly in between those crosses. So, I'm just slowly drawing this. I'm not someone who draws hyperrealism normally. I am like an illustrative style that is a bit colorful and a bit whimsical with a touch of realism. I'm not a hyperrealist. Like some other artists here on YouTube, they can create these really super detailed hyperrealistic drawings. That is not me. But you can definitely use this technique to create that hyperrealism. If that is something that you wanted. So. There we go, this already feels a little bit more detailed, doesn't it? I'm really enjoying this. I think on the other side, I want the colors to be a bit lighter, so I'm going to use a lighter color brown, maybe this one. I also have a bit of this purple color, some scent color. Now I think this warm, let's stay with the warm tones. This warm terracotta color would be perfect for that. There we go. And I don't mind if these squares are not perfectly square. It is absolutely fine if your drawing is full of character and a little bit whimsical and a little bit wonky. I don't want you to feel like all of this has to be super realistic, and I think these ice creams would make a really great like pattern for on like a beach towel. Or there's lots of applications for this type of design that I can already think of. So maybe a bit on this side. And I know I'm being a little bit quiet, is because I'm drawing and talking at the same time. I'm trying to think of how to show this texture of this ice cream cone. There we go. I think this green one, I just made these colors up earlier, but I think this green one could be maybe like a pistachio ice cream, or like has like little seeds or nuts in it. So first let's give it a little bit more green. So I'm going to use this bright green color just to add a little bit of shadow here on the underside. It is dripping here as well, so I could add a bit of shadow there. So I'm just lightly shading it, having a gentle touch. You don't want to go in instantly really dark with really harsh lines. You want to just take your time for it and have a bit of fun. So, and let's add in maybe some little seeds here. I think this starts to look really cute. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit better what it is that I'm drawing. I think this looks really fun. So let's start adding a little bit more color to these other ice cream balls. These are scoops of ice cream. This is the word I'm looking for. So this purple one definitely needs to have some shadows. I'm using purple here. So you can see how small the movements of my hand are. So, and what I love about this technique is that you get the texture of color pencil just by adding that layer on the top, which I think is fantastic. It's something I really enjoy. So that pink one also needs some shadow. I can use this color. So maybe it needs some highlights as well. And this is something else that I really enjoy, is that you can go over your marker and use a lighter pencil to add highlights back in. So you can add a lighter color over a darker color pencil, over a darker marker I should say, and add in highlights, which is something that otherwise can be quite hard to do. But because you use the marker first, you can go over it and add lighter colors over colors that are darker. Over the yellow it's a bit hard to see. So my camera is a little bit wobbly today. For the last two ice creams, I have sped the video up a little bit. And the reason I'm doing that is just to keep it interesting. I think it would be a little bit boring to watch all of it in real time, and the techniques are the same. So this is going to be that popsicle with different colors. So like a traffic light, popsicle. And when you do drawings like this, it's absolutely fine if your colors are a little bit different from the colors in your reference photo. It is more important that the values or the shadows are in the right place, but other than that, feel free to experiment a little bit. Ice creams are fantastic subjects to draw when you're new to art. I believe that every single person can draw and that everyone is creative. But the first steps in becoming a more creative person, or at least to let your creativity out, is just believing in yourself, believing that you can do it, and trust in the process, and feel free to make mistakes. When you're new to making art, making mistakes seems like a really scary or a natural thing to do or to allow. You want all your drawings to be perfect. But the more drawings you make, the less important it becomes that every single one of them is going to be perfect. I must have made, 500 drawings in the last year. I sketch and I draw every single day or paint. And not all of these 500 drawings are excellent. Some of them they're terrible. Some of them I learned a lot from. There's some that I really enjoyed making, but they didn't come out so great. And there's also ones that I'm really proud of and that I'm really happy with. Some of these drawings I spent hours on, and some of the drawings are quick sketches or quicker drawings, like the ones that we're making today. And each of these components influences how I feel about the drawing afterwards, and it's absolutely fine for not everything to be a masterpiece. Ice cream drawings are really fun and colorful and vibrant, and it's a great way of practicing with some new material. So if you're new to color pencil or new to drawing in marker and color pencil, I'd really recommend doing something like this. They're really fun to make into a pattern or to use on products, or there's lots of different applications for ice creams later on. So give it a try and see what you think. The beautiful thing about drawing in color pencil over marker is that you can layer lighter colors over darker colors. So I can use my light pencils to add lighter colors and highlights onto the darker markers. And that's a lot of fun. It makes a big difference to your drawing technique. With a lot of paints, like watercolor paints, it's really hard to layer lighter colors over darker, so you work from light to dark. But today we can switch things around a little bit and play around with lighter colors. As you can see, I slowly start to add some darker colors to this ice cream, add a little bit of shadow there. I'm now deciding what the shadow side and what the light side is going to be. And adding these values makes the drawing look a little bit more realistic. It's funny that there's so much detail into a drawing like this, so you can still learn a lot from it. It might seem easier than drawing a portrait of a person or an animal or something that's really realistic, and I think it is, but there's still so much to learn and so much to see and so much beauty in a simple object such as an ice cream. I love drawing still lifes. It really gives you the opportunity to observe and learn and just to have some fun as well. So here I'm layering my base colors with marker again. This is going to be that watercolor ice cream, watermelon ice cream I should say. So I'm layering my base colors with marker, adding a little bit of detail and then going in with my color pencil. If you enjoy creating with me, make sure you check out my website. In my Makings and Musings creative community, there are hundreds of classes from previous years to look back and to help you on your painting and drawing journey. I teach watercolor painting, charcoal drawing, color pencil drawing, pen drawing, and lots of different classes on different subjects. So go have a look and check it out. Make sure you subscribe to this channel as well. If you enjoy this, make sure you click that little bell because you'll get updates on all the videos that I post. And let me know in the comments underneath what you'd like me to draw next. Who knows, I might do it. I'm going in with color pencil on this ice cream. I've added a bit of shadow, just in a greyish blue. And this ice cream has very little texture, so I'm just adding in a little bit of pencil marks for a bit more interest in the texture, but it does not have lots of shadow or other textures. You can also use your markers for a bit of shading. Adding some shadow on the side of each ice cream really makes it look like it's lifting off the paper a little bit. And this is only a rudimental way of doing it. I could have done it much more precise or with an airbrush or blending it out. But just to give you an idea, adding a bit of shadow does make a difference, and I think it makes the drawing look slightly a bit more realistic. So I'm using my grey pencil for this. I did not plan to add shadows from the beginning. This was a last addition, like a later addition, but I do think it looks good. So there we go. I'll keep it quite subtle, not too dark, and each of them in the same direction. It would be a bit confusing to our mind if each shadow would point in a different direction. Don't they look delicious? Let me know which one is your favorite. I'm sharing a sheet in a few moments where I added all the ice creams together, made it into a little bit of a pattern. There we go. These ice creams are finished for now. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you're joining in. I'd love to see what you've created, so if you share anything on social media, make sure you tag me as Makings and Musings. My name is Irene. I'm an art teacher and illustrator, and I'll see you for our next course. Bye bye!